What's up, guys? Welcome. Damn it. Ah! What's up, guys? Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I am gonna be reacting to Llama art and shout out to him for making this video possible. And I have asked permission to do this. Yes, that was pretty cool. And he said I can literally react to 3 videos, so that's long enough, by the way. Yeah. And today I'm gonna be reacting to Night Shift Stories Animated. Wait, that's 7-Eleven? Okay, whatever. Okay, let's get into it. I was right, yes! It is 7-Eleven.
It was 2 years ago. I was called in to do the night shift, 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. at 7-Eleven, since somebody called out. The store was located on a busy road in a rather quiet and rural area. During the night shift, you could expect anywhere from 10 to 20 people come in to buy a beer or something else. This one particular night, there was this one guy, mid-20s, that came in. He started making weird noises, like loud yelling noises. I assumed he had some kind of mental disability. In fact, my brother has a mental disability, so I immediately felt sympathy for the guy. He walked up to the counter without any items, with his head facing me, but his eyes were looking up at the ceiling. I felt uncomfortable. I honestly didn't know how to deal with it. I tried speaking with him, but he only responded in loud noises. I kept checking if he was with someone outside, but he was alone. There weren't any cars in the parking lot, so I assumed he walked. He stood there for so long, looking up at the ceiling and making noises, that I tried to get him out by handing him a bag of chips and telling him he can go. I tried finding some kind of number to call for someone to help him. Then, out of nowhere, he finally turned around and walked out of the store. I felt so horrible for the man, but at the same time, I felt a bit creeped out. About an hour later, the phone on the counter rang. I picked up to hear the familiar yelling sounds of the man from earlier. It caught me off guard. I didn't know what to think, other than this has to be some kind of prank. I hung up on them and was now becoming paranoid of my surroundings, constantly checking the outside through the windows. Come 4 o'clock, the person working after me came in, finally allowing for me to go home. It wasn't my problem anymore. I got home and threw all my stuff on the table, ready to get to sleep. But my phone rang within a minute after entering the door.
Whoa. If that's the same guy, then how is he getting all those numbers? Is he a guy or something?
I felt a chill run down my spine. Why would someone be calling at 4 a.m.? I could only imagine it was bad news. I braced myself and picked up the phone
Sorry if I heard that
to hear
either.
the man again.
Yep.
I felt sick to my stomach as I listened to the loud noises he made. I struggled to slam the phone to the receiver. All night, I felt like I was being watched, even with all the blinds shut. And I could swear I heard strange noises coming from all over my house. I refused to get any sleep until the sun came up. Weeks passed and I had forgotten about the incident, until one day, when going into the basement for the first time in a while, I found that papers had been scattered all over the floor, and when I went into the basement closet, I found writing on the walls. 7-Eleven had been written in Sharpie on the wall, along with the address to the 7-Eleven I worked at and my house address. The most disturbing part, I also found various kitchen knives, along with a large pocket knife sitting in the closet.
No.
What started out as seemingly just an innocent person, turning into something of a prank, ultimately turned into something much more horrifying. He had been living down there for God knows how long, and I'm just grateful that, for whatever reason, he changed his mind and left, because I haven't seen or heard from him since. All I can say is that man is dangerously ill.
So you living under the basement for a long time? Oh, that's cool. Okay, let's do another animated one, okay, y'all? Yes, I'll listen to that song. I like it. Okay. Are you freaking serious? Hold on, guys. I'm sorry. I have to do this. The true pizza delivery. Oh, there you go. Yes, I'm doing this on my phone, by the way. You probably already know that. I'm about to get my... Wait, guys. I'm about to get my laptop. I hope y'all are happy so I won't be doing this all the time. But, man, Kaden, you don't like that. I want to see it the real way, all that kind of stuff. So, that's how
I was out doing a delivery one late night. It was probably the longest drive I had ever taken for a pizza delivery. From the pizza place I worked at, it was a 20-minute drive, which isn't too crazy out where I live. Plus, they ordered 4 large pies, so I figured it was a party and I would get a much bigger tip. Navigating the dirt roads at night was always annoying, though. I pulled up to the given address. It was some old, sketchy-looking building, literally in the middle of a forest clearing. There were no cars parked anywhere, or any lights on. I put my car in park and called my boss. I asked him to reread the address at least 3 times to make sure I typed it in right, but that checked out. I could tell he was in a really bitchy mood, and he told me to at least knock on the door and check it out. He would normally get mad if we took back 1 pie, but I was afraid of what he would do if I brought back 4. I was insanely unnerved, but got out anyway and forced myself to the front door of the building. There was no doorbell, so I just knocked really hard. I heard nothing and didn't really expect to hear anything. I was extremely disappointed, not because nobody answered the door, but because I was realizing that it was all a waste of time and gas.
Oh my God.
I knocked 1 more time out of desperation, and then began to hear some kind of rustling noises from inside of the building.
You better run.
I knocked again and yelled that I was the pizza guy. There was silence now.
Knocking air like this? No.
A bit more uncomfortable now than before. But before I could turn around, I noticed something at the window. There was
I knew it! I knew it!
I couldn't tell if it was a man or a woman. All I noticed were their eyes.
Oh, hey! No. Look at it, thinking it right.
Wider than I knew possible, staring intently at me.
Oh.
I was disturbed
Oh,
by this
my God.
and dropped the pizzas and ran back to my car. The shitty thing
That's
didn't
what I
start
was
until
gonna
turning
do.
the key for the 3rd time. I drove off the grass and back onto the dirt road, but I felt the car rocking about, shaking and bumping.
Wait.
The shitty thing wouldn't start until turning the key for the 3rd time.
Hold
I
it.
drove off the grass and back onto the dirt road.
Bruh. Oh my God. What you doing at the window? Eat no dang pizza. Bruh, you gave him pizza for four pizza. For free? Okay.
But I felt the car rocking about, shaking and bumping.
Okay, you're about to get fired for giving
I didn't
free
make it far from
pizza.
the building before I started hearing a sharp scraping sound coming from outside. There was so much resistance that I couldn't even drive. The car came to a stop.
Oh hell no.
I got out of the car to check what the hell was wrong. A chill ran up my spine as I began to feel like my heart was constantly skipping
What is
beats.
it?
My tires had been slashed and had completely fallen off the rim. Not just the front though. All 4 tires were slashed.
Oh my God.
I realized somebody did this when I was knocking on the door to that building. Instead of running, I got back in the car and locked the doors.
Oh my God.
I was so close to that building, I could practically see it from where I was, if it weren't for the trees blocking the view. I dialed 911 and explained everything to the operator. She told me the cops would be over as soon as possible and that I need to stay hidden. I asked her if it was advisable to stay in the car or run, and she told me it would be best to stay in the car with the door locked.
Oh my God.
She asked me to stay on the line with her until
I don't know. Comment down below if you would stay in the car or run. Man, if I was doing that, I'd rather run. Yeah, I'm about to run. Yeah, I know it's stupid, but the cops will come toward me faster while they're coming down the road where my car is, so that's why I would run. And no, I ain't scared of the dark.
The cops arrived. My whole body was shaking. In all directions, there was nothing but dark, seemingly endless forest.
I'll take it
I
back.
knew it would take forever for the cops to get there. I was not comfortable with sitting in that car so close to whoever did this. The next part, though,
Okay.
is what utterly destroyed me.
Yeah, I'm eating scrambled
This still
eggs,
shakes me to this
guys.
day, and I hope nobody ever has to experience this kind of fear.
By the way, that's my aunt. She just
As I was
walked
scanning
in.
all the windows,
And she's making me scrambled eggs with bacon. Yes, I love it. Isn't that your best breakfast for on Monday? Yeah, I don't have to go on Monday. No one does. I wish I would go. It's 9 o'clock. Bruh, it's 9 o'clock. Oh my god. Okay,
making
whatever.
sure nobody was outside, I looked in the rearview mirror, and there was the same person. I saw at that window.
Oh my god.
Darker than ever. I could see now that it was a woman, and I could
I was right. It's a woman.
slightly see a smile begin to spread across her
Oh
face.
hell no.
I opened my door and full-on sprinted into the
That's
woods,
exactly
not
what
caring
I
how
would
much
do.
noise I made. I ran until I was out of breath.
In
It
the
didn't
fuck?
take long, and I hid behind a giant log on the ground. I tried to cover my loud breathing with my hand as I waited and waited for what felt like hours until I finally heard sirens in the distance.
Oh
I gathered
god.
up all the stamina I had left to run all the way back in the direction of the dirt road.
Told you.
Eventually, the glowing red and blue lights came into view, and I had never felt better in my life. They were parked in front of my car, investigating with flashlights. I came out yelling at them like a lunatic to help me. I fell to the floor and started to gag, almost throwing up from running so much. They picked me up and began to question me, to which I explained everything to the best of my ability. One of the two cars drove over to the building, and the two officers began to search the building. They came back with nothing except for a couple of spiky objects. These objects were exactly the same as the ones used to slash my tires. The cops guessed that it was some kind of sick, demented couple, being that I saw the woman, but unfortunately they were never found, and that still kills me to this day. I obviously quit my job right after that and started working at a local grocery store. I know that I'll never forget seeing that woman at the back of my car.
Wait, is that 7-Eleven? Okay. Wait. Is this the did I watch 2 videos? Hold up, wanna look at my history? Yes, I did. Okay. By the way, I did have permission, by the way. And I'm gonna have to watch 2 more, okay? 2 cracked like horror stories. I don't know what that means, but okay. Oh, stupid ad!
Scarier than ever.
Ugh! My god.
This story took place a long time ago, back in 2002, when Craigslist was in its early years. Many wouldn't know, but back in those days, Craigslist was a lot different. It was a lot more so an online garage sale, or just a place where people would list old things that still had some value that they were willing to give away. I got a basketball hoop, a hockey net, and a spoiler for my car, all free in perfect condition in that same year. You'd be lucky if you found something like that these days. Anyway, me and my son were dying to buy a hockey net so we could practice in the cul-de-sac we lived in. For the record, this was before I got that free one I mentioned. Wouldn't you know it, on Craigslist there was an ad for a slightly used regulation-size hockey goal for only $50.
Oh hell.
It came with a puck and 2 slightly used hockey sticks. I still have a picture of that ad to this day. It seemed like the perfect deal, but he lived about 2 hours away. I called the number he had listed, and he sounded pretty normal on the phone. He had a pretty deep, dark voice, but nothing that would be off-putting. I remember his voice being a bit emotionless. He agreed to meet halfway due to the distance. Said he'd put the stuff in the back of his pickup truck. He said he could only come after he got off from work, though, which was much later in the day, way past dark. We agreed to meet at some rest stop off the highway. Me and my son, who was 11 at the time, took my wife's minivan, the only car that would be able to fit that huge thing. Within an hour, we were at the truck stop, which was empty at this hour, but was decently lit by 3 big light posts. I parked right under one of the lights and waited. A pickup truck pulled in off the highway right on time. He stopped right in front of me. I went over to his window, but then noticed there was nothing in the back of his truck. "You Steve?" he asked me. "Yep, that's me," I said. "Alright, my buddy's bringing in the stuff with his truck." The guy pulled up behind my car and put it in park. I suddenly had a bad feeling. I told my son to get back in the car and lock every door except mine. 2 more pairs of headlights came off the highway into the lots, surely enough, pulling up next to me. And, not surprisingly at this point, there was no hockey equipment in either one of them. My heart was racing. I was worried. Not for me, but for my young son who I for some reason brought with me on this trip. A group of large men mixed with heavy-set and muscular physique.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, would you rather take your son? I would rather take my son, or would you rather leave him at home? Comment down below. I already know y'all too. Oh my god. Okay. Oh boy.
Stepped out of the 2 pickup trucks behind the first one. They eyed me from head to toe, giving that typical intimidation stare down. Then this bald guy wearing sunglasses said in a deep voice, "Where's the money?" I instantly pulled out my wallet and handed it to him, begging him to just let me and my son go. He pulled out like $100 and was pissed, expecting more. He then sent 2 of his goons or whatever to get my son. At this point, I screamed and begged for him not to take him. One of the men broke the glass to the minivan back door, and I vividly remember the disturbing, heartbreaking screams of my young son. What happened next was what I can only explain to be a miracle from God answering my prayers. A car was entering the lot from off the highway. All the men stopped and turned to look at it. As it got closer, my heart literally dropped in excitement as I saw it was a police car. The lights suddenly began to flash as he got close enough to see what was going on. All of the men were back in their trucks within seconds, speeding off down the highway.
Y'all know God real. 1 like if y'all love God.
Well, at least 2 of them. The truck in the back was caught immediately
Come down if you don't love God.
by the police car, and backup arrived shortly. I explained everything to them, and they got the men that were caught to rat out on the others surprisingly quickly. I guess luckily the guys in the back truck weren't very loyal to whoever their leader was, if they even had any type of leader. Believe it or not, I had a police escort all the way home to make me and my son feel safer. I don't want to get into all the legal stuff, but I'll just say that all of those men except for one was caught, and I'm pretty sure that was the driver of the first pickup truck. Needless to say, my Craigslist days weren't over at that point, but I have always been much more protective of my son, and much more cautious of Craigslist meetings since then.
Okay guys, that's gonna be the end of the video. I think this is long enough. Even though I did 2 or 3, I don't know. And I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Please leave a like, subscribe, join the CK family, and I'll see y'all in the video as always. Love y'all. Peace.